Streaming now, this is the Wood TV Live Desk.
And good afternoon, everyone. Phil Penarski here with the News 8 Live Desk. Hope you're all having a wonderful day so far. This Saturday down in Kalamazoo, you can celebrate all things related to ham radios. Yes, the annual Hamfest and Vintage Electronic Expo returns to the Kalamazoo County Expo Center this weekend. And joining us today to preview that exciting event is Alex Stewart, the coordinator of the event. Alex, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, first things first, I want to talk a little bit about sort of explaining the event a little bit for people. What is Hamfest for people that are probably hearing about this for the first time?
Sure. Well, the Hamfest itself celebrates and gives an opportunity for amateur radio operators to get together. Our hobby is based on communication over long distances a lot of the time, so we don't get to meet our friends that we talk with on the radio very often. So this gives us a chance to get together, but it also gives the public a chance to find out what amateur radio is about. So we get together, we'll have some forum presentations. We offer an opportunity to get licensed or upgrade your license if you're already an amateur radio operator. And it gives us an opportunity to buy and sell equipment with each other.
I think that's a really cool aspect about it, is that you guys all do kind of maybe communicate pretty often, but now you are all going to be in the same place. Touch on that a little bit more if you don't mind, Alex, just why that is so important, and really why this festival is so important to not only the hobby of amateur radio operation, but really just, everybody that finds it entertaining or finds it as an enjoyable hobby.
Sure. So as amateur radio operators, we often sit at our houses or in a public space with our radios, and we chat with one another over long distances. So we don't often get to know who we're talking to face to face. And having that in-person communication, getting to know the other person over a quick bite, or as you're walking around the event buying and selling equipment, it gives you an opportunity to bond and make those connections a little stronger. The stronger our relationships are, the better our communication will be, the more often that we will practice our communication skills. And when the hobby turns into a public service in times of emergency and need, those relationships really count. And that's how we make sure that we're practicing our skills.
And we're taking a look at some photos right now that you graciously sent us ahead of time. We're taking a look at just kind of some of the past events, what people can kind of expect when they are down there. And there's going to be a lot to see, a lot to check out, and then also a lot to learn. Can you kind of just go over, if you wouldn't mind, just some of the things that people will be able to participate in or be able to do it, whether they are experienced amateur radio operators, or maybe they're just now finding out about this, or maybe they really want to start getting into the hobby?
Sure, absolutely. So the biggest event in the morning will be the licensing exams. So amateur radio does require a license from the FCC to participate in on-air activities. So we give an opportunity at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning to go and take your licensing exam. There are 3 levels of licenses. So if you already have your first level, it gives current amateur radio operators an opportunity to expand their licensing, to take the second and third level tests, and to get more frequencies under the belt that they can use. For new folks, it's an opportunity to walk around, see all the equipment that we use, ask questions of other amateur radio operators, and connect with the clubs. Both of the clubs here in Kalamazoo will have a table with some information, and we can connect you with classes on what to learn, or what you'll need to know in order to take a license exam in the future. And yeah, it'll give an opportunity for equipment purchases as well.
And we were talking a little bit before we actually started the stream, Alex, just about how you kind of got into the hobby. It's something that you and your wife both kind of share. So on a personal level, can you kind of just tell me, what is it about amateur radioing that is so entertaining, or something that you genuinely love and think that more people, one, need to kind of know about it, but two, maybe more people need to even get in on the fun?
Sure. For me, it's the electronics nature of things. I was a computer engineer in college, and learned a lot about electronics, but I didn't really use that electronics knowledge after school. And this gives me an opportunity to use that knowledge, build radios, which is something that amateur radio is built on in terms of historics. We were always kind of the first DIYers and first makers of electronics hobbies. We like to build our own radios. We like to practice using those radios in all kinds of conditions so that, in times of emergency and need, like down south in Nashville right now, in the post of the hurricane, or here in Kalamazoo when we had the tornado in May, amateur radio operators jump into action and make sure that the communications for the local government and stuff um, is there so that we can help. We From a personal level, I enjoy the electronics hobby of it, but the emergency communication is really important. And it was very good to see the local community hop into action post the tornado. Um, yeah, it's a fun hobby. You can communicate across town. You can communicate across the nation and the world. You can even communicate to space. There are amateur radio satellites, and the ISS has a number of amateur um, radios on it, and most of the astronauts are ham radio operators. So you can occasionally talk to the International Space Station, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that is a super cool element to all of this. And that's kind of the perfect segue into also trying to get more people to come on out this Saturday. Alex, I want to turn it over to you now, kind of let you have the final word for people that are maybe on the fence or maybe don't know if this is something that they want to check out, but they've got some free time this weekend. What would you tell them to make sure that they are down at the Kalamazoo County Expo Center this weekend and check out the annual Kalamazoo Hamfest?
Sure. I'd like to say that it's not just about amateur radio. We're also including the Vintage Electronics Expo, which is another group that we've added to the Hamfest over the last couple of years. The Vintage Electronics Expo specializes in all vintage electronics. We're talking audio equipment, old radios and TVs. So if you're into hi-fi audio and records and that kind of thing, there will be a lot of vendors there selling all kinds of great equipment or project equipment, stuff that you can fix yourself. We have a number of forums from the Vintage Electronics group going on this week that will help you learn how to fix equipment as well. So it'll be a great time whether you're into amateur radio or just vintage electronics in general. There's a lot to offer.
All right, fantastic stuff. Alex, once again, thank you so much for stopping by. I do want to remind everybody watching that if you would like to know a little bit more about this festival, you can find everything you need to know right now over on our website, woodtv.com, inside this week's Weekend Planner. Alex, one last time, thank you so much for stopping by today. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Of course. I want to thank everybody else for tuning into this latest edition of the News 8 Live Desk. I'm Phil Pinarski, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.